quick programming note before I start this episode. I am going to be discussing concentration, focus, and how such things are impacted by my depression. Because of that, I'm going to leave in pretty much all of the ums and uhs and pregnant pauses while I'm trying to gather my words for the next part of my sentence. So hopefully that doesn't cause too much of a problem for anybody. I realize it will kind of increase the length of the episode, but I think it proves a point. I think it'll be important as a way to exemplify the things I'm talking about. So let's get going. Hello, it's Saturday, April 2nd, 2016, and as of this recording, I'm still depressed, but I'm not dead. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I do appreciate you tuning in, downloading, whatever your method is to let me inside your head for another 20 to 30 minutes of depressive talk. I am so very happy to kind of look at the downloads of my show and see I'm up over 70 total downloads. And in the past, I never would have thought that was very impressive or anything. But now that I see that as me, as a kind of a solo podcast, what I'm putting out there, that's important. That feels good. So thank you, everybody who is taking time out of their days to listen to my voice. As always, you can get a hold of me by email at depressed.0.ded@gmail.com or on Twitter at depressed_0_ded. I would love to hear any thoughts, comments you have, either about the show topics. Share your story with me. If you want to know a little bit more about me, I'll be glad to, reply and give you some information and let you know a little bit more about me. So, kind of a disjointed story today, I suppose it will be, as we are talking about concentration, focus, and whatnot, and how that kind of applies to everyday life through the lens of my depression. So let's get going and have some fun. So I've been reading a little bit on a Reddit or through the Reddit website. I don't know. I'm still kind of a novice there. I don't know if it's a Reddit in unto itself or it's a subreddit. I don't understand what the subs meant. I don't know. If it's a sub Reddit? Is there a master Reddit? I don't know. But essentially, it's a Reddit, we'll call it, about depression, and it's kind of a forum for folks to kind of get a few things off their chest, maybe ask for some help. A lot of times it's just folks saying, hey, this is how I feel screwed up. Is there anybody else out there like me? And it's, it can be very comforting to hear from someone else that, you're not alone in that feeling, in that mindset, in your depression, in your feelings about suicide. You're not the only one out there. And it can be calming and encouraging to know that, we're not uniquely crazy or uniquely messed up. So one thing that I've noticed are recurring, and there's lots of recurring themes and ideas of, geez, I can't get out of bed, or geez, my meds aren't working, or, is therapy working for anybody? And another one is how folks will comment on their seemingly decline in concentration, in focus, in memory, even just plain cognitive aptitude because of their depression. And something that I've been aware of for some time, and I think I demonstrated that a little bit in the previous episode when I couldn't quite figure out what the name was for the final kind of arts and crafts project that was to be completed at that program that I was in at the hospital. And it was just yesterday that it hit me that it was called a recovery project. So it was titled as such so that it was that was like your focus for recovery, how you were, what you were taking with you as your kind of golden nugget, hopefully. But geez, recording that show and even afterwards while I was editing it, I couldn't think of the word recovery. And it's not uncommon in my day-to-day life that I lose my vocabulary. I may have mentioned this before. Just simple words I can't seem to garner. I can't pull out in conversation. And I don't know if I credit that to my ability to focus, or if cognitively there's some change that has happened that has kind of rerouted pathways in my brain to not be able to grasp words. And clearly it's happened with actual memories of events or people or places. And so I guess losing words isn't maybe not that much different than forgetting anything, forgetting a simple conversation I had, or what I talked about 2 shows ago. And just a heads up, there's potentially some show changing news that's coming out probably in the next show, which involves my wife. And I let her I shared the show with her, and she's listened to a couple shows already. And her first response, she listened while she was on her way to work, and her response after she'd gotten to work was, "Hey, I think I want to be part of this, but I'd really like to at least talk about your first couple shows." And my response to her was, "Well, you're gonna have to remind me what it is that I talked about, because I don't have a very good recall of even those shows specifically about what I talked about." So, this is something that, looking back, I think has kind of plagued me for a while. And I don't know quite, I don't know. I guess I haven't unpacked it all or repackaged it or whatever. But let's get to it. So concentration and focus. I think they're very similar in kind of in definition, obviously, and as well in application to individual people in their lives. And this is one, as an example. So part of, and I refer to this program a lot for having left it, but I guess it's a recent kind of event in my life that I can draw experience from. So part of this program, we had music therapy once a week. And so the music therapist would come in, and big surprise, he had gray hair, a ponytail, and a goatee, and middle-aged man. So hard to believe, right? Music somebody having a ponytail. But so he would, sing a song on his guitar, and then we would make a song as a group, a blues kind of song. So just, 3 lines basically. And then we would play that, and then we would move on, and he would hand out different instruments, usually either just little maracas or cabasa, I think they're called. Those little, it's a round thing. It's got a handle and kind of a drum on the end, and all these beaded chains around the outside. So you twist it, and it goes kind of like that. And a couple other things, but essentially really easy things to say. Basically, play, just kind of just shake them or hit them or move them to the beat roughly. So easy thing. So we'd hand these all out, and then we'd sing a song, or we'd follow along to a song. And the first week it was "Come Sail Away" by Styx, and then the second week it was I can't recall now. But the second week, so we were going on, and I had one of those. No, I'm sorry, I had little maracas, and I was shaking them and trying to say, okay, am I going to shake them just once to the beat? Am I going to shake them, twice every beat or whatnot? And I realized that after about 15 seconds or so of starting the song, that I was gone. My mind was thinking about something else, and I was off beat. And then so I focused back up, and another 10-15 seconds, and I'd be off again. And one of the times, probably a good minute had gone by when I wasn't in that moment. I wasn't mentally present in what we were doing. And even after that occurrence, I tried to focus better, but I realized just focusing, even that failed. I just, I got to keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, what time does my favorite team play basketball tonight? 5, 6, blah, blah, blah. Hey, geez, I got to tie my shoes. And just gone. It was very difficult for me. And so that's, I don't think that in itself is necessarily indicative of poor concentration, poor focus, poor ability to focus. But those kind of things happen all the time to me, either in a conversation I'm having with someone, in watching a TV show, in doing a chore, doing a task, even doing this show, when I'm essentially only talking of myself, about myself. I lose focus, and I quickly almost forget what it is I was trying to say, sometimes mid-sentence. And maybe some people will say, oh, that's classic ADHD, and ADHD, I don't know, whatever. What do we call it now? It used to be AD. I don't know. But see, I lost there. So it's a very, very difficult thing. And it's sometimes it is easier, but it never goes away. And one of my favorite things to do is talk with my wife and kind of hear about her day. I'm getting better at sharing my day, but it doesn't even have to be specific like that. I could be relaying some information to her, or she could be relaying information to me, and it's one of the few things that I actually enjoy doing. But even in those situations, I find that my mind kind of disappears, and sometimes it is filled with like a worry. Sometimes I I know sometimes in conversations I worry that I'm not going to get the point of the conversation, that the other person is going to stop speaking and I'm not sure what I'm going to say. And so my mind just goes off on that. Like, okay, what am I going to say? Okay, she's smiling. Okay, I got to say something positive. Or, her inflection went down, so this is disappointing. Okay, I got to be encouraging. And shoom, I'm just off onto whatever the last time we talked about something that was discouraging for her, and I started thinking about that, and then all of a sudden, oh hey, she's still talking. What? Oh gosh, I just missed 5-10 seconds of conversation. And it's tricky, it's difficult. It's one of the easy things for me to get down on myself about. I wonder why anybody would want to talk to me, why anybody would want to listen to my stories when it seems clear, at least in my head, that I can't keep focus on your story and what in your conversation, you're part of the conversation. So conversations are really bad. And I think that plays into a little bit with my inability or desire not to hold small talk conversations, because a lot of those things don't interest me, and it's that much quicker that I tune out. I almost need a conversation to be about something bigger. Let's have a conversation about solar power, and I might be interested in that enough. Let's have a conversation about religion, or some significant event, worldwide event that has happened. I may have interest in that. But average person, hey, talk to me about the car trouble you had last week. 2 seconds in, I'm gone. I'm out of the conversation. So conversation is one place that I struggle with my lack of concentration. I've already covered kind of missing words, forgetting words. And so some of the other things, I guess, that go along with that are, remembering things, and attention to detail, which is a tricky one also, because that could be seen as, you're lazy or self-centered. Someone who's self-centered isn't going to remember the kind of coffee that you prefer at Caribou Coffee. Someone who is self-centered, or I don't know, as someone who's self-centered, they might not remember that shirt you wore yesterday that you commented about, because they don't care. In my case, someone who's depressed doesn't remember the shirt you wore yesterday. There's most times I don't remember the shirt I wore yesterday, or but what I did during the day. Even there's times when we're recapping at the end of the day, and it's, hey, what'd you do today? How was your day? What kind of stuff did you get done? And it takes me a little bit to remember. Eventually I do remember it all, but I don't know. I can't right now. I lack that ability to say, oh, well, let me tell you, I did this. I went and ate a bagel, and then I went to the pharmacy to get my prescription, and then I did some food shopping, or hey, I read a book, and then my first response would be, I went and got some bagels, and I went to the food store, and that'd be it. And then I realized, geez, that wasn't a full day. What the heck else did I do? And so yeah, so that it's difficult. So, concentration. So reading is another thing, right? And obviously that kind of goes along with, I would think, with conversations. So, I like to read. There are several authors that I do enjoy reading, several kind of genres of books I enjoy reading, but it's really difficult. I'll read, sometimes I can get into it and read 3, 4, 5 pages in a row straight. Other times I get, a paragraph and a half, and, maybe it's a keyword that I read in that paragraph that sparks something like, vampire. Oh, hey, vampire, Dracula, podcast I used to listen to about vampires, driving in the car I had when I listened to that podcast first, and next thing you know, I'm 8, 9, 10 ideas down the road, and I realize that my eyes have still been scanning, but I have no idea what I just read. And that's tricky as well. And it also could be, I'm reading and the furnace kicks on, and then next thing I know, I'm 6 thoughts down the road. Oh, furnace kicked on. Okay, wow, I didn't realize it was that cold today. Is the furnace really working right? Is the thermostat set too high? What's going on? Is someone cooking something with the oven, and so it's warmer or cooler? Or that doesn't even make sense. And then, wow, okay, maybe I need to get a jacket. And then I realize, oh, holy crap, 3, 4 minutes have gone by, and I may have even turned a page, and I don't know what it is that I read. And I find this, I mentioned podcasts, and I like listening to podcasts, and I will listen to quite a few when I go out walking, by myself to get somewhere, to go get said bagels or whatnot. And I'll, be listening at really interesting story, interview, conversation about science or skepticism or basketball. And, daily, several times within a podcast, I'll realize I have no idea what these guys just said for the past 2 minutes. And I end up having to rewind to listen to what they said, because all of a sudden they're talking about, talking about the latest astronomical discovery, but I have no idea what they're talking about because I missed the first 2 minutes of it. And so I clearly I don't have that focus and concentration. I used to think, for a long while, that I was kind of selfish, stuck up. There's probably another word for it. As part of the reason why I had such a hard time interacting with people, or maybe I was just too lazy to learn a new subject, or do good and do well in a class, or sit through a meeting at work. And and I guess I'm not 100% sold that I'm not still those things, but all of these kind of individual occurrences, all these individual lapses of focus or loss of cognitive processing of information, all these kind of things on their own might be indicative of more of a personality trait, but as a whole, I think it points to something much bigger, and it really wasn't something that I used to identify as being a problem of, or being a complication of depression. And, I'll be honest, I would like to hear what anybody else there has to say about this, but, I think kind of all these things put together, and other things, kind of forces me to lose, or makes me, or causes me to lose significant amount of time of each day. And I don't mean that in like I have a blackout and I lose from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. kind of thing. It's not like that. Although I may not remember what I did yesterday from 2 to 4, it's not that, it's not that kind of a chunk all at once. It's, I missed, A through Z things in the morning, and 1 through 98 things in the afternoon, and it adds up. And over the course of weeks, months, years, and lifetime, it's kind of significant how much it seems like I don't have with me. And I want to say I'd love it if I find the right mix of medication and therapy and support, and my kind of symptoms go away, or are much better managed. I want to say that some of that stuff starts coming back, but I don't know that it does. And that impacts a lot of my self-identity, my belief in my future, and being able to, what kind of employee could I be if this is the way I'm going to be? What kind of dad am I if I don't remember the play that one of my children was in a year ago? If I don't remember your 11th birthday party at all? What kind of husband am I if I don't remember you telling me about this problem you had with a coworker, or about a class you want to take, or something like that? I question lots of that, and it's very, very difficult, if I'm honest, to kind of own that. And I'm not sure how to make that better, how to manage that better. So yeah, I don't geez, so even talking there, I kind of think I don't think that made any sense. It may have, but I don't feel like I was making a cromulent point. That's a word, right? Cromulent. I probably didn't use it right. So let me sum up. Actually, I'm going to hit pause here to gather my thoughts. So I don't know what to sum up. So I guess I'm going to close this out with kind of a ask for assistance from y'all out there, or share your stories with me if this is something you've noticed in your life, in the life of someone with depression, and also give me some tips on maybe ways to manage this better, to be able to live my day-to-day right now with a little more focus, and aside from just hopping into bed every time it gets real bad, and thereby leaving out those parts of the day because I'm asleep. So hey, thanks for listening. I'm just about 30 minutes right now, and that's probably long enough for you guys to listen to me mumble and stumble and jumble over my words. So stay tuned for probably a change, a show title change. Contacts may change, though I won't leave. I won't. Jeez, never mind. I'll let y'all know when that time comes. So anyway, thanks for listening, and everybody be safe, be as well as you can, and please go ahead, reach out to me, and let's start up some dialogue. Thanks, everybody.